You ready to get on board? On board with the morning train and get this done and meet one of the most iconic artists in our business. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm super excited. So let's get the show rolling with the one and only Sheena Easton.
Look at y'all up bright and breezy this early in the morning. That's wonderful.
Right, all colourful and bright, all ready to go. Well, yeah. We know how hardy the 80s cruise, how hardy it is. So, Sheena, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, so glad to see you. I know you had a show last night, and I heard that all thumbs up, all the way.
Yeah, we had a good time. We had a fun time. Yeah, great audiences.
Yeah, well, I think these are the best audiences because that's why we come. We come to see our favorite people on the cruise. But also, you know, you've been in our lives. You know, we all grew up together. But I always like to go back to the humble beginnings. And from humble to superstar must have been one heck of a ride.
Well, it definitely was sort of probably not something that you would think would happen. Because I was born and raised in a, sorry for my voice, you can hear I've got a chest thing happening, so please bear with me, I can't talk that loud. I started off my first band when I was 17, and it was in Glasgow in Scotland. And when I grew up, there weren't a lot of people from where I was that could go on and basically become a professional singer, but I was determined. I was like, I'm gonna do it, you know? I thought, I can do this. I was dumb enough, you know, when you're young, you've got that dumb confidence.
Well, that dumb got you to be the first Scottish artist to top the Billboard, the US Billboard Top 100 charts. I mean,
it was kind of weird, you know? It was one of those...
You have to excuse her, because... but we're going to do this.
We're doing it.
I
wanted to be here so I could, you know, talk with y'all, so...
I mean, we had the opportunity, you know, we had said, like, maybe we could cancel this, but Sheena was just like, no, we're going to do it.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing to me, because we put out Morning Train, and I got all these phone calls saying, you're like number 20 in America, then you're number 5, then you're number 1. And I was like, what? In America? And I found out that we topped the charts in the States the same night or the same afternoon that I was recording the vocals for Your Eyes Only. So I couldn't really stop to celebrate that moment because I was pooping my pants that I was like in the studio recording a Bond song, you know, and only a few years out of college. So I was feeling the pressure. Just trust me, I was not super confident. I was like, I hope I don't, you know, I don't mess this up. And they had all the Cubby Broccoli. Anyone who's a Bond fan will know that name. Yeah, y'all know Cubby Broccoli, right? The very famous movie producer. There was a row of seats, kind of like this, outside the recording studio. And Cubby was there and a couple of others from the film studios. And I guess they were probably there to view this. They're probably going, all right, we've given her the gig. You know, but if she don't deliver, there's still time to pull the plug on this, you know? Let's just go in and take the temperature of this, see if we made the right choice. So I was so lucky that my first record producer, Chris Neal, who took me from being, you know, a lounge band singer, knew nothing about recording in a studio, he took me through that process to where I would actually be able to record properly. So he used to call me Killer. And he's like, all right, Killer. He's like, don't worry, Killer. I'll keep him at bay. I'll keep him at bay. And so he kept going up to the door when somebody would come to go, no one's coming in. He didn't let them come in because that would have really freaked me out. So we got through all the vocals and, back then you did it live. There was no auto-tune.
Right.
There was no faking it. You had to sing that. If you were lucky, you could patch together this line with that line, but there was no cutting every syllable from 1,000 takes and making a song out of it. You had to sing it. So we got through it and we had something we could play them, something rough, and I was like, oh my God, please. They came in and they heard it and the rest is history. They liked it.
Yes, it is. Hit history. So, did you meet James Bond?
I sure did.
Oh, I want that.
God.
I want that juice.
No, my James Bond was Roger Moore.
Yes. Oh, they're so gorgeous. Wasn't he on the...
So hunky. And also he was one of those...
wasn't he the Saint as well?
He was the Saint when we
my
were growing up
gosh.
in Britain. But he was one of those actors. He was old school to where he was sort of Cary Grantish, very suave and very you just felt like when he was standing there having a cup of tea, he was still James Bond.
Yeah. He was so easy on the eye.
Oh my God, was he gorgeous. I did not mind that at all. I also got to meet probably one of my favorite James Bonds, and that was Sean Connery.
Of course.
Now, I met Sean later. We can get back to the early days, but since we're on the James Bond thing, I got to meet Sean when we were both in Japan doing separate projects. I was there to promote an album, or we're promoting the album, we're getting ready to go over and do some live concerts, and he was there to promote a movie he did with Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
He was working
That
with
wasn't
Wesley
the Rock
Snipes.
movie, was it? That wasn't The Rock, was it? No, that was with Nicolas
It was something
Cage.
with the sun in it. What was it?
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun with Wesley
Rising Sun.
Snipes. And it was really confusing to a lot of the people that we were doing interviews with, because him being Scottish and me being Scottish, he'd say, come and sit in my knee, sit in Daddy's knee, Sheena. Come over here and sit in your daddy's knee.
I'm not too sure. I think I would love to do the rest of this interview with you as Sean Connery. It's so much fun.
Well, he was adorable. He was a sweet, wonderful man, and that ended up where he was presented like a Lifetime Achievement Award or some big award for one of those, I don't know, American Film Society, some kind of thing, and he had people that were going to sing at it, and he requested me to come sing.
He must have been so proud of you.
Well, I mean, we kind of bonded a little bit. I mean, I won't lie, we didn't become best friends or anything. You're sort of ships that pass in the night. But that was a wonderful experience because I was all tingly sitting on Daddy's knee, trust me. I was like, okay, see Wesley Snipes one more time, please.
I'm telling you, you're making me cough with these stories. We'll give you time to, do you need some water?
I've got some tea here,
Drink some tea. We have people in the audience that are wearing kilts in honor of you.
Oh my God.
As well.
If there's somebody wearing a kilt, please stand up. I would love to see that.
Where's my kiltster? Where is he? There they are. We can't see your legs.
That's the best part of the kilt.
Here it is. Well done. And
I can just say that a man in a kilt always has a big sporran, trust me.
I think we'll move on.
Well,
between Sean Connery
anyone Scottish knows what a sporran is, and it's not what you're thinking.
So it's really like where your mind goes.
It is, yeah.
Well, you're talking about sort of like, as we know Sheena Easton as the star, the well-known star, but when did your love for music first star? I mean, I'm
I was
just thinking how young you were,
like 3
when
or
you
4.
became a superstar. I mean, a superstar. How did you prepare for that?
I was the youngest of 6 kids, and we grew up very. My dad worked in a steel mill, and he passed away when I was 10.
Yeah, you were so young.
And my mom did various things. She worked in a factory, so we grew up where we never missed a meal. We were well looked after, but not exactly had a ton of money. And it was my Auntie Mary's silver wedding.
I love that wedding.
So it's just like a big family party, and they spent a shitload of money on it, right? For then, it meant you had it in the cooperative hall or one of those places, right? But it was nice. It was, I guess, booze for the adults and sandwiches and stuff to go around. It was a nice big party, and everybody dressed up fancy. And I had a sticky outie dress, we called them, those little party dresses and the stiff skirts. And I was just little, and they had me get up and sing, and I sang Early One Morning, right? And I would kind of sing it now, but I'd be croaking through it. But it was early one morning, just as the sun was rising. And they all were like, yay, and that was it. I was hooked. I realized that I got the adults' attention. So I guess as a little tiny kid, that's kind of like, look at me, Mommy, look at me dance, or look at me draw a picture. That was my way to kind of stand out. So I just kept on singing, and I got through my childhood, especially, I guess, the years right after my dad died, and you just kind of find ways to cope, Yeah. So my sister had a dance set record player, and it was one of those where the needles flipped. You could play the 78s on one side, the 45s and the 33s, right? So I'd steal all of my older brothers and sisters' albums, and I'd sing along with them. And that was my singing lessons. And I would kind of test myself. If I could hold this note and sing loud and long with that note, then, I was doing well. And that's also what gave me kind of this broad musical education, because my dad had a record collection, and there was Glenn Miller and all the great singers from the 40s, and my older brothers had Steely Dan and Yes and all of those great bands. My sister had Carly Simon and James Taylor and Carole King, and my other brother was listening to what was on the radio at the time. So I'd sing along with all that stuff. And I don't know what it was. Again, nothing in my culture told me that I could go on and be a singer, but I was determined to do it. So I'll truncate this, but I got into drama school in Glasgow, the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama, it was called then. Now it's called the Conservatory, but that's what it was called then. And as soon as I got there, I thought, I want to join a band. I want to get some gigs. I mean, please. So there was no internet or anything. So I kept getting the daily paper and looking at the want ads. Finally, there was a want ad that says, "Singers Wanted." And it was a local agency that was looking for singers for local gigs. I went up, showed up, and stood up, and I sang "By the Time I Get to Phoenix." Okay, because I knew that one. And, but it was, I don't know why I chose that song, but I sang that one. And they were like, oh, okay, she can actually sing. So I ended up getting the gig. The band that was playing for all the singers singing that night, that were auditioning, their singer was leaving to get married or have a baby or something. So they came to me and said, do you want the gig? So at 17, I went to drama school and got my first gig, singing basically in every bar, and just all of that stuff where people are just drunk-assed and half listening. But it was a great education because you had to listen to the radio and just learn the songs. Anything new, you had to learn it. Because I'm telling you, when you were there, someone would yell out, sing this one. And the band would go, do you know? I go, I can fake that I know it. and you'd make up half the lyrics, but you'd get through it. That's how I got my start.
Which is amazing because people think when you get onto the scene that you just got there, but to hear how hard you have to work to get that initial to get noticed is such a wonderful story.
I think it's just paying your dues, but I won't lie. I mean, I was blessed that I got my recording contract when I was in drama school, and I know that came really early. I know a lot of artists are touring for years, and they're in the late 20s, early 30s before they get a major break. I got mine very early on, so I've never forgotten that, and I've always been very grateful for it. But I mean, I could honestly say I was singing several hours a day nonstop from a very early age. Just the same way a guitar player, a piano player, a drummer practices their instrument. Yeah. You just do it. And it's one of those things. I have kids, and I kind of remembered that, and I thought the best way to teach a kid is for them to have fun learning something. So that was my way. I didn't even know I was learning. I was just having fun.
Well, we're so glad you did it. That is for sure. Well, MTV back in the day, of course, played nothing but music videos, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Well, my music videos were crap, though.
No, they were not. Totally disagree, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, come on, the music videos, I can still do the walk.
Yeah, I know.
I love it. I love it. I used to walk around looking at your videos like in a red dress going,
oh yeah.
But I can't sing for pickles.
I call it the flick and wiggle, right?
Yes.
And I would just think, okay, if I can just we call it fronting it, right? Just front it. Just go on and pretend that you're confident. So just pop the shoulder, pop the hip, do the pouty thing and sing your
It was pretty hot, Sheena. It was pretty hot.
Oh my God. But when you look
you have to admit, it was hot.
Well, put it this way, I was a right poser. Yeah. All my friends
and the hair.
Up, oh
the
God,
hair was awesome.
Oh my God. I had every kind of hairstyle and haircut and hair extensions and hair color. I mean, I was like a lab experiment with the hair. And I swear, the spandex that I got away with back then, my goodness. But when you
look the hairs on your legs.
You look at music videos now, and there's something amazing, and I look at them and go, oh geez, please don't play one of mine after playing a Beyonce video, it's like, my first video, let me just tell you this story really quickly. The first music video I made was for Morning Train. If you get a chance, check that out.
I checked it like 8 times this morning.
Oh my God.
I'm a pro on that one.
I was called into the record company, and they literally said, so they're doing these new films for your music, and they're going to be playing them on TV, on a music television show. So we need to go make a film for this, right? Now, I had a bad perm that I'd gone down the high street hairdressers and had my hair permed and colored. I had this parachute material jumpsuit. I think it was bright orange or bright turquoise. I think I had it in 2 colors. And I think what was I wearing? White boots or something? I forget. Yeah. So I had to go down. They went, go down to this. It was where they had this small train thing running, and then we'll play the music and you'll just sing it. And then the director had a bike that he said, ride this bicycle up this path. And I'm going, I haven't ridden a bike since I was 12, but I'll give it a shot. So there's no stylist, no makeup artist, no hairdresser, nothing. Just me looking my normal self on a bike and in front of a train, giving it plenty, trying to be all professional, and this thing went around the world. Oh my God, how embarrassing, but yeah. That was my entry into the world of MTV. Woo!
Welcomed with open arms, perm and all. It was pretty awesome. Well, like I was saying, MTV used to play all the videos, of course, and so we're very familiar with that. But then it got into trouble. Well, I think it got into trouble when it did the first reality TV show, which then switched it all up. But that's how you got your start as well, wasn't it? Because that was the first TV reality show ever.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't.
think.
I guess in reality shows are
In the UK.
reality shows that were scripted and set up. You know, it's like This was an actual. This was a documentary series.
MTV wasn't.
This was a documentary series that they did for Britain, and it was 6 different things. And they had this idea to take an amateur in something and give them exposure in a professional field. So they had a person that could cook, that got the chance to work with chefs and do like a big banquet. They had someone who liked to drive. They taught them how to drive like a Formula One car or something. It was all different stuff. And then they went, let's have a young person that can sing, and we'll have them record a single and we'll put that out. So it was more like that experience. It was called The Big Time. So it's like, here's an amateur and they get to experience what the professional version of that was. So they went around looking for a young singer. Bear in mind, I was at that time in drama school, and I was known as the singer because in drama school, all the teachers and all the lecturers knew that I was out singing in bands. So I went into school one day and they said, hey, we got a call from somebody from the BBC and they're looking for singers. So I called them from a phone box, one of those red phone boxes in London, literally. I'm like, hi, you looking for singers? So long story short, they sent a girl up from London. She talked to me. She said, come up to my hotel room and sing for me. I mean, come on. If that had been a guy, I would have said no. But this young woman was like, she seemed kind of, she didn't seem to be doing me any harm. So she sat on the end of this it was a tiny room this bad, and I stood this close and I belted out, I've got the music in me or something, right? And she's like, all right, you'll do. So I ended up getting on a plane and going down to London to meet the producers of this show. And what they told me was, we're gonna bring in 6 girls, the 6 finalists, into EMI Records, and then the EMI will pick the one that they want to do a single with, right? So I was like, okay, I'm willing to do this. This was my first time on a plane. It was like, it was crazy for me. Like, they were paying me to go on a plane and stay in a hotel. I was like, I'll do that.
Is this before you sat on Sean Connery's knee?
Oh, way before that.
Okay.
Honey, I didn't get to sit on Sean's knee until I was much more sophisticated. This is when I was still in drama school, had done nothing professional yet. So I went down to London, did my audition, and got on the plane coming home. And when I got home, my mom said, there's been a couple of phone calls, you need to call this number in London. They've got something they need to tell you. I'm like, oh, okay, they probably tell me I'm not one of the 6 or whatever. So they said, we decided that we're not taking in 6 girls, we're just going with you. And we're gonna go to EMI, and we're gonna have them hear what we heard, and hopefully they'll go along with this and we'll make a single. Get to EMI, sitting in front of these guys. They're now filming this because this is gonna be part of the documentary. And Brian Shepherd, who was the head of the company at the time, said, we had a conversation and said, oh, this could end up being a nightmare. What if this girl is like a sweet girl, but she can't sing? So let's let her down gently. So just be kind, be sweet, but just let her know, hey, this is not how the record industry works. So if you see this documentary, they're all sitting looking at the floor, listening to me sing, because they're probably cringing, going, we gotta let her down. And Brian said, as I'm listening to you sing, I'm realizing, no, we want to sign this girl, so how am I gonna get to them before they say no, and to tell them we're actually going with yes? So they all went out the room, came back in and said, yeah, we're doing it. And then Brian took me aside and took me into his office, and he said, here's the deal. BBC brought you to us today, but we're not doing just a single. We want to sign you for a multi-album contract. So you're now an EMI recording artist, and so basically they can film what we're doing, but that's where we're going as of today.
What did you do? What did you do when they said that to you in that room? I mean, name the 3 things that you thought you were going to do. First, buy a house, car.
No, I was in shock because I was like, you know, when you get stunning news, either good or bad, you get that kind of buzzing in your head, and you're like, you know, it's almost like you can hear a sound, and I was like, what? And he brought in this lovely, very stylish young blonde lady, and he said to me, do you have any more clothes than what you're wearing? And I thought I was looking kind of good. It was my best outfit. It was my brown corduroy pants with a brown corduroy little vest and a nice shiny blouse. And I was like, no, I've got a couple of things like this, but you know. So he went, give her some money, take her shopping, to get her some clothes. So here's the deal. Before we actually signed the contract, they knew I was a student. They knew I had no money. I basically would go to the bank and I'd go, how bad is my overdraft? Can I have any more money? And I'd get paid by my band that I was singing with, doing my lounge act, and I'd put that in to pay off my overdraft, and I'd go, okay, I'm back to zero, can I have some more money? So I went to the bank like 2 or 3 days later, and there was like 5,000 pounds or something in there. I almost fainted. They had sent money up so that I wasn't overdrawn. And that was, to me, the same as, you know, having a jet or something. My life from then on in was, I could take a breath and know that my singing was gonna pay my bills. And that was such a huge relief for me. And I still didn't quite believe it. You know, I think in our business, we learn early on that the stuff that you're given can be snatched away so fast that I wasn't expecting this to be long term, but I thought I'm gonna enjoy this for as long as I can. And I'm gonna be 65 in April, so.
1959, baby.
Do you know what they call this? I saw this. This is the silver tsunami. There's a record number.
1959.
There's a record number of people turning 65 this year. We're the silver tsunami, baby.
Oh, girl, watch out, we're coming.
Yeah. Well, you can tell by my cough, I need my Medicare real bad right now. I'm gonna be needing that real soon. Mama needs her Medicare is all I'm saying.
You deserve whatever you want.
That record company, I have to say, a lot of artists. EMI went out of their way to cradle me, wrap their arms around me, protect me, and they gave me such a great start.
That was where I got my start also on EMI. Well, I was the EMI World Disco Dancing Championships. I said it out loud.
Yeah, girl.
And on the mic.
Yeah, girl, you go.
EMI, I worked with that. They were the first people.
Yeah.
So I got schooled by them, and I've got to say, I'm so glad I had the opportunity, because for me, EMI were so about the music, the artists, the art, and everything.
Yes,
so I got schooled from like people that knew exactly what they were doing. So
absolutely.
So I could go.
And that was back in the day where you took an artist and you supported them. They weren't looking, if your first single doesn't make it, you're done. We're moving on, which happens to a lot of young artists today. They were looking to invest in your future and to take you down the road and to support you. And they really did that for me. And so I was very, very blessed that I was given those things at the start of my career.
I'm so glad you were there. They made me promise that I wouldn't sing. It's the truth. I'm so bad. I mean, no. Seriously, I'm bad. Stick where I am as I'm ahead. Well, from that, all of that, to be the first and only recording artist in Billboard history, by the way, to have 5 top 5 hits, to have top 5 hits in every chart, right? Every Billboard chart.
Yeah, country and...
Did I get that correct?
Yeah, country, R&B, you know.
I love it when you go, yeah.
No, but
that was the
Yeah, but okay, let's just be fair here. The other charts kind of made some sense, but the only reason why I had a big hit in the country chart is because I did the duet with Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
So I was riding his coattails. You know, that was his hit that I was singing on with Kenny. So that was Kenny that gave me that hit. So that.
But you've crossed over. You've done country, you've done jazz, you've done pop, you've done R&B. I mean, to me, you seem like the first crossover artist to be out there. I mean, Beyonce, Schmonce.
No. I think like
Country, Sheena's done that.
But we talked about, you know, that early education from listening to everything. When I grew up, we had Radio 1,
Yes.
right? And Radio 2. Radio 2 was for moms and dads. It was like the moms and dads stuff. Radio 1 was our music station, but they played every genre. You would have Jim Reeves, and you would have Tom Jones, and then you would have David Bowie. You know, one after the other as you were getting ready to go to school in the morning. It was a wide selection. Nowadays, like, you know, when I was raising my kids, I noticed especially, they would get locked into one genre of music. If they're into rap, that's all they listen to.
Right.
And there's a rap station. If they listen to country, that's all they listen to. And you weren't exposed to as many different things.
Right.
So the fact that I was exposed at an early age to so many things, and also, you know, got my start in drama school is probably the reason why I could sing all the different genres. They felt comfortable to me. And then I could also go on, when I went on and did Broadway in the West End, I was a real drama queen. So, you know, getting up there and singing show tunes, that was like an obvious step for me. So I think it really does depend upon that. And I have to say, my band that travels with me, they're the most amazing group of musicians. We all live and work in Las Vegas. That's where we're based. And these guys go out on the road with me. I'll talk to them and go, hey, you know, where were you last weekend? Oh, I was off doing a jazz fest in France. I was off doing, you know, this rock fest. I was off. My guys, when we all sit and we talk, usually in an airport bar, when your flight is delayed, and we talk about stuff like that, they all are the same way. They all came up and they learned every school of music. And they can go out and they can play any kind of gig. And I worry about sometimes when I talk to young artists, young musicians, they get themselves locked into one thing. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a good thing, I don't judge, but I think an education, a broad education in any subject, I think is a good thing.
I do too, and I feel that it's coming around. I feel a lot of the young artists today are actually finally getting it. And
there's a lot of
really,
old school coming back,
yeah,
isn't there?
a lot of old school. I mean, like at the Grammy, seeing Tracy Chapman
oh
on
my
stage,
God, yes.
you know, coming in. They're really starting to, if they're covering your songs or if they're going back and they're starting to appreciate, because I think, you know, sort of like it got very big-headed out there and they were thinking they were the first people to be doing all this stuff. And we know that in the 80s we were the first.
Yeah, but you know,
stuff. I mean, working
we were ripping people off too, you know, let's
yeah,
face
of course. Well,
I've been ripping
also
off the
in
best
England,
since I started, you know, that's
well,
what
that's
you
what you do by singing along to
Yeah,
those greats
yeah,
before you. And
yeah.
we had Top of the Pops, so we also had visual, which I think made a
Yeah.
difference. We had visual of the music before MTV.
Yeah,
was there.
Top of the Pops is very similar to Solid Gold.
Yes.
That would be the thing, and so that would be the equivalent to that.
And we only had 3 channels, so, you know.
We
Top
had
of the Pops.
3 channels, my God. Hell, my first TV was black and white.
Yeah.
I still remember getting my color TV. That was huge. It was amazing.
But it wasn't huge. I mean, it was...
No, yeah, you're right.
It was...
But it was a big event. It was like, oh my God,
fat and-
we're gonna color TV. That's amazing.
Well, we've talked about quite a few people that you worked with, and you sitting on Sean Connery's knee, which I still love. Let's go to the obvious music star that we want to hear about today as well, which is, of course, gosh rest his soul, the one and only Prince.
Yeah.
Prince. I mean, the story is, as you know, because you've done this for many years, you know, it was the nice, sweet, flicked Sheena coming along, and then all of a sudden, you just got into it with.
Wouldn't that be great if it was true? I love that story.
No,
Another story
flip,
that I love.
Flip, because of this, the association with Prince musically, you were then, to me, you were still the same. You were still like doing your thing, but you know, it kind of good girl went bad girl kind of thing.
I think it was more like, because before I actually met or recorded with Prince, we had recorded Strut for that album.
Yeah.
Yes, which is, you know, not exactly tame.
I love that song.
I think it was more like I was at the point in my life where I was becoming a full-blown woman, and I had been around the world a half a dozen times and had a lot of different experience, and I was coming more into myself and my confidence, and I felt able to kind of be sexy and all of that you don't feel when you're 19, 20, straight out of school, and you're like, you know, this is me being sexy, you know. It's like I felt confident then.
Felt good.
So yeah, we were recording that album, and I ended up doing the Tonight Show, and I got a call the next day, and it was from David Leonard, who was my sound engineer, who also worked with Prince, and he said, Prince wants to work with you. He's sending over a track that he wrote for you. Now, I later heard from other people, oh, he didn't write that for her. He wrote it for somebody else. I don't care. He told me he wrote it for me, and I'm believing it, okay? I'm like, That's the story I heard, and I'm sticking to it. It's fine with me. So I loved the track, which was Sugar Walls, of course. And I went in, and we started to talk before we recorded it. And what I loved about him is he made me laugh so hard. He was funny and down to earth, and he instantly started poking fun of me and making fun of my accent, and I just made fun back of him, and so we just had a good time, and we just really enjoyed each other's company and enjoyed doing that song. And so that then went on to us doing a whole bunch of different collaborations together, and we just, I don't know, over the years we stayed in touch, and when he would come into LA, I'd get a call. It would be like, 1 a.m. Hey, pick up the rotary phone. Hey, you want to come down to the studio? Oh God, I'm tired. Oh, come on. Come on down. Come on down and hear the new stuff. Oh, all right. And of course you want to go hear some brand new Prince stuff. Who wouldn't, right?
Yeah, when Prince falls.
Yeah. So I'd go down, and that's how we ended up doing You've Got the Look as a duet. Is I went down to hear You Got the Look, and he was playing me it, and he went, you want to sing on it? And I went, sure. And I thought, he meant like, you want to sing along, like, yeah, he had, all the band singing, and I think Sheila was singing on it too at that point. There was a lot of people singing on there, and so You Got the Look. Well, he played me the song a couple of times, and it was a syncopation. I wasn't quite in it. Instead of me singing, You Got the Look, it was like, you got the look, you got the hook. It was like an answer to him, and it was a mistake. And I went, sorry, play it again, let me get where the one is. I don't know where I'm coming in, like on the 3 or something. He went, no, do that again, I like that. And that's one of the things I loved about Prince. I've worked with many different producers, and they all have a roadmap and a blueprint, and they know what they want, and they've got their thing that they're trying to do. He would just go left field if that's where the music took him. If something accidental happened and it sounded weird but interesting, he'd say, let's just keep going with that, see where it takes us, right? So I started, singing the syncopated chorus. So they went, all right, I want you to sing a verse now. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like, we just like started to kind of riff off of each other, and that's how You Got the Look ended up being a thing more than me just coming down and listen to the song in the studio and just kind of hang out. It was kind of accidental.
And here we are. And while being a music icon, you were also on the silver screen as well. I mean, you had all that work as well. You worked with Don Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
He's a friend of ours, so we love
Don.
Dee.
Well, Don, you know
But
that...
Indecent Proposal, you were in that movie
Yeah.
too, which is a huge movie.
I did mostly, I did some TV acting work and stage work, but I think Miami Vice, I think one of the things about that show was it really was a great friend of music, because it always had rock music, and it would have different people from the music world come in and do a guest role as, like, you know, a drug dealer or a cop or something, you know?
Yes.
And I got to go in and play this. It was kind of like almost like The Bodyguard, you know, where he had to guard me, and then we fell in love. And
as Don does.
I'll tell you, what a hottie patati. Oh, yeah, he was as gorgeous as you can imagine.
He's still gorgeous.
Still gorgeous man, and so talented and so kind. You know, he was a very kind
he's a
man.
giver.
He is, and he really, well, I don't know how well she knows him. Obviously better than me. Maybe you should ask her stories about Don Johnson.
No.
All right, darling.
My husband actually...
Let's hear your Don Johnson stories, please.
No, my husband actually used to run one of his companies back in the day.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. But actually, when we got married, my husband and I, we got married.
Everybody has a past, baby. Everybody has a past.
No, we got married in Hawaii, and actually Don was at our wedding, but on the cover of OK Magazine, it was just a picture of Don and me, and I was in my wedding dress, and it was a picture of Don and I, and it was just like married, and I was just like, holy crap, I'll take it.
Oh, that's
I love
awesome.
you, baby, but it is DJ.
That's awesome. He's in all the wedding pictures, right?
You know, and everybody else is cropped off. Which is nice. It's a really thick album. It's awesome. I love it. Well, you've worked with so many people, and here we are in 2024. Is there still somebody out there that you would love to, like, maybe work with, or you know, happy and settled and good on your own?
By the time I got to be in my mid-30s, I had done so much. I'd been working non-stop, literally since I was 18. And like just constantly touring and recording and singing. And so I kind of thought, I need to step back a little bit. And that's when I first did, I was just coming up. It was 1989, I believe, when I went to Broadway the first time. I think it was 89. And I kind of took a step back. I thought, I'm not retiring, but I just need to cool it down a bit, and I want to be in one place for a while. Talked to the agents and said, how do we make that happen? They said, what about Broadway? That's when I went and I did Man of La Mancha with Raul Julia. And another amazing talent. Raul Julia, what a gentleman. So during that time, I realized, well, I really want to be a mom. I'm not good at marriage, just not good at that. I've been married about 25 times or so. I'm one of those people, I kind of, the J-Lo thing that she talked about, you fall in love, you think, well, this is it, you commit, and it's like, then I get out. But I knew I wanted to be a mom, and I knew I needed to really think about that, because kids are not something you walk away from. It's a real commitment, and you need to be ready for it.
Yeah.
So I decided I want to do that. So I adopted as a single parent, which was kind of unusual back then. It was not a common thing. And when my kids came along, I was right. Oh my God, this is it. This is what I need in my life. So for the first 5 years, I dragged their poor bodies everywhere. We'd go on tour, and we'd have, James Ingram and I and Peeble Bryson, Colors of Christmas is a tour that would go out every Christmas, obviously, and it would have 4 artists in it, and we'd do duets together and solo stuff and Christmas stuff. I remember I took my son Jake, who was a little baby, And we'd get on the plane and I'd have, all the 12 pieces of luggage for his stuff. And James was so funny. He'd go, "Come on, darling. Yeah, this is our child." So we got on the plane. And I toured with the kids early on. But when they got to be about 5, I thought, they need to settle and go to school. So that's when I first came to Vegas, which is where I now am. And I thought, let's do the same thing I did back when I did Broadway. I'll take a step back where I can work, but I'm in one place. So the kids went to school like every other kid, and mommy would do homework with them and then go off to do the show. And we did 2.5 straight years of 8 shows a week, nonstop.
Wow.
And then I was like, I got burnt out on that. I needed a break. So then I went back to like my touring thing, but I cut it way back to where I go out and do stuff like this. Yes. I go out, like maybe every other weekend. Sometimes it would be longer trips, go to Europe, go to Japan or something. But my kids grew up with a very normal life. And mom, that's just mom's job. She goes off and she does gigs and she comes back. But none of that, life on the road for my kids. I wasn't going to do that. So I pared things back, and I realized that in order to pare it back and have a life where I could have my music, but have my sanity,
exactly.
I knew I couldn't have that craziness of constantly making records and all the crazy that goes with that, and the promotion and the full on. So I dialed that back, and I love my life now because I haven't stopped performing. I perform all the time. I still have my music, but my kids are now in their very late 20s. Yeah. They've had a great normal life, and I've loved every bit of it. I love the fact that the crazy stuff was when I was young.
Yes.
And the more settled stuff as I got older.
Well, we're happy you brought your crazy side here. That is for sure. I'm sure there's a few of you out there that have some questions, so would you mind taking a few questions from the audience? Is there anyone out there that wants to ask Sheena something? Please let me know. Yes, I can see you with the hat on, please. You can stand up, you can shout.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the adventures of Bristol County Junior.
Bristol County, oh my goodness, yeah, that's a TV thing that I did. That was fun. I got to be...
When was that?
That was... What year was that? 1993.
93?
I'm terrible about stuff like dates and things, but...
I'm still 40.
That was one of my TV spots. That was so much fun. That was a Western, and it was a costume drama, and oh yeah, that was... You watched that, huh? That was cool. I also did an episode of Highlander, the Highlander show.
Yes. The Highlander.
And I got to sword fence in that one, and I learned how to work with épée and foil when I was in drama school. So when I got there, they're like, okay, we're gonna have a stunt double do this, but we need to make sure you look okay holding the foil. And I was like, you mean in this stance? And I could I remembered the basics. So I got to do some of my actual foil work. And then the really hardcore stuff, that was a stunt double, trust me. But when it looked really simple, that was me actually doing it. So yeah, you'd be surprised at the stuff you learn early on in your little bag of tricks, when you get to do that. Yeah, I got to do a bunch of stuff where
Awesome.
I got to shoot machine guns and hold, I got to do some little bit of action work.
You kind of have fun, don't you?
I have some fun,
A lot of fun. Are there any more questions? We'll take a couple more because you know that Sheena's got a show tonight and not feeling well. Please, yes, absolutely, stand up, Diva.
Hi, I'm asking on behalf of my husband. We'd like to know what was it like to be on the set of Miami Vice? I know you touched on it.
Well, let me just say that.
Yeah, we're back to DJ again.
Yeah.
You and me, kid.
Back to Dawn. Back to steamy Miami. That was a lot of fun because that was a lot of action sequences too. I remember being taught very quickly about blanks and squibs and jumping. Would you jump over
It was physical. It was physical,
yeah, get
those
behind a
shows
couch
back in the
while I was
day.
being shot up and stuff. It was really good. We had a problem though because I guess the audience liked the character and they liked the fact that, you know, Sonny, his character, had married Caitlin, my character, and so they wanted to kind of try and keep this going. But I had a tour all lined up to go do, because when they asked me to do it, it was only supposed to be 4 episodes. So then they came to me and said, well, can we do more of it?
Yeah,
and I was like,
you were in it for a while.
I can't though, because I'm like, there's literally a whole bunch of dates booked we'd have to cancel. And I'd be getting sued by a whole bunch of, you know, promoters out there. So they ended up going, well, we need to do something with this character. Like, what are we gonna do? So they shot me.
All right. Next question. While Sheena's still here. Go ahead, stand up, sir.
Oh God,
Oh,
I couldn't do Follow My Rainbow right now, no.
No, tonight. He's asking tonight.
That was a lovely song though. Yes, that was what I was singing when I got shot. Yeah.
Yeah?
That might not bode well though, let me just say.
Might be a short night. Please, darling, you go.
Okay,
Ah, yeah.
so that whole, there
If
was,
you repeat the
was
question.
it, how did I feel when Sugar Walls was banned? Well, Sugar Walls was in with a whole list of other naughty, dirty songs. And the problem is they were banning them after they were all hits. I mean, Sugar Walls had come and gone, and when it was like, what? And so when I'd be asked about it, my answer then is the answer I have today, and I still feel strongly about this, especially being a parent. I'd say, look, if there's a parent out there who listens to the lyrics of that song or any other song and doesn't feel it's appropriate for their kids, don't let your kids hear it.
Yep.
And tell them, you know, this is an adult song and I don't want you walking around the house singing these words. This is not something we're gonna sing at Granny's birthday party next week. So, and I would say that to my kids. You know, my kids would be belting out some rap stuff and I'd go, Jake, where did you hear that? And they'd go, on the school bus. And I go, well, that's not appropriate, you know? So I really do feel that parents have the right to decide what's appropriate for their kids, but I don't think it's a healthy society to ban art of any kind.
I agree.
And there's always this conflict that goes on where somebody in government or somebody high up goes, that art exhibit is offensive, or that music is offensive, or that book is offensive.
Yeah.
Well, if it's offensive to you, then don't
Don't
partake,
listen to it.
you know?
Exactly.
But let it, if it is art, let other people experience it if they want. And then, you know, y'all tell your kids, don't do it. So that's how I felt about that.
I love it when there are sort of like power heads out there, that there's a song that comes out and they have no idea that it's a naughty song.
Oh, I know. That's the thing.
You know, when TLC came on the scene, you know, with all those cute girls with the hats and the stuff, and they're like 2 inches a yard, rock hard, or whatever second. Like, everybody's singing it, but nobody knows what they're talking about. I'm like, you know what they're talking about, right?
I mean,
you know, it's
think
that
about,
kind of-
I mean, Sugar Walls isn't really blatant in
It's
any
not.
way. And then I'd go, well, what about, I want a lover with a slow hand. I want a lover. I mean, you know, my ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling. I mean, all through music history, there is music that you can interpret one way or the other, right?
Well,
mean,
I think my ding-a-ling is.
But there's so much stuff that you can go, well, it's whatever it is, you know. I mean, that's the story,
I
right?
just can't believe Sheena Easton sang My Ding-a-Ling. What a way! What a way! What a way to end the show. I hope you've enjoyed getting on Sheena Easton's morning train.
Bad perm and all.
You have a show tonight, so hopefully, maybe. We're going to. Do you have time for one more? Because he's been standing up for quite a while,
Yes,
and then
absolutely.
we'll let you go. There you
Well,
go. And that was a great. You didn't like that?
No, that was me posing
You were
again. though.
gorgeous.
I was on a treadmill in spike heels. Okay.
As you do.
And Bally's came to me and said, you know, we want to have you do the commercial and do posters. And The Lover and Me was the music that they played for that. And that was a lot of fun. I was a workout fanatic back then. Man, I had an 8-pack, and I was I really worked out. Jane Fonda's videos got me started. You know, I first saw those videos, I was like, I'm gonna do that. And I went for it, man. I was like, man. And so Bally's were looking for spokespeople, and they saw that I was young and fit, and he said, let's do it. I mean, it was kind of crazy, though. I loved the whole concept of, it's a workout video, but it was tongue-in-cheek. That's why they had me, like, all dressed up, and obviously not dressed for the gym, is they wanted to just kind of like go, if you work out, you can look kind of good when you go out at night, was the sort of bottom line. But yeah, I'd forgotten about that. That was a lot of fun doing that.
Well, now I know why I did work out with heels on. It's because of you. I was wondering why I did it. So
But props to Jane
think
Fonda.
in the back of my
Come
mind.
on.
Props to Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda started a revolution in the fitness industry.
Yes.
Got a lot of people, including myself, working out every single day. She is the original fitness diva.
Excellent. Well, props to Jane, but today it's props. All the props go to you, Sheena. Thank you so
Now,
much.
can we just mention that I think the next thing that they have me doing is later today around 3, I believe.
3 o'clock, you have a
There's the wine tasting experience. So I'm hoping I'll see some of y'all's faces at that. And I think what they're going to do is maybe, I don't know, open up some questions there. I'm not sure.
Yes, they will.
This will be new to me. So I have loved, before we go, I just want to say I have loved seeing y'all and seeing you in the bright lights and seeing your faces. And I just want to say that, you know, y'all come in these cruises because you enjoy it, but I know I'm probably speaking for more than just myself, but as an 80s artist, I want to tell you that I never take for granted the fact that you all still come to my shows when I travel and perform, and I don't need to have a record out there in the charts. You all still come and support and love, and I get it coming from the audience to me, and it warms my heart, and it gives me confidence, and I love seeing you.